Hello and welcome to the Outcast. I'm your host HC, and with me is.
Wolf.
And today we're dealing with some ninjas because damn did this come out of nowhere a week earlier. Now, granted, we had Good Omens to do before. We would have done Good Omens before anyway because those kind of relate. But damn, this talk about a season which was announced for July 29th and then released a whole week earlier.
Yeah, they stealth released this hard. like
Yeah, and no joke, I told a friend of mine who is also a fan about this, and she's like, wait, what? But they said they're releasing it on July 29th. Are you sure? And I'm like, I just finished the season. They released all of it out of nowhere.
yeah, I don't think anyone knew about this. Like there was no
Like,
fanfare for it, no ads, nothing. They just, hey,
yeah.
here you go, season 5.
Like there
Bye.
is this kind of trend that they are doing. They did this with season 4 too, that like maybe they would upload an episode on their YouTube like a week before or something, but this was just nope, here's the entire season for no reason, no announcements, no nothing. I think people found out just because suddenly they went on Netflix and boom, there's a new season.
Mm.
So they still, and honestly, I'll be honest with you. Something tells me Netflix is trying to sabotage this show. I am just conspiracy theorizing here, but there, something is sus. Something is very, very sus.
I'm just gonna say it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think whether Netflix is trying to sabotage it or not. I don't think Netflix has to try very hard looking at this season.
Mm-hmm. So you know what? Let's cut the bullshit and just jump into the review proper.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna make some people
So
mad, probably.
okay, so you know what? You started. So non spoilers. What did you think about the Dragon Prince season 7?
I know season. If I'm not mistaken, I remember some of my complaints from season 4 will be the same here, if I'm not mistaken. And if I'm not mistaken as well, I think a lot of people were not too happy with season 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna be honest. Like there's things I liked about season 5. Let me be clear. There's some things I liked about season 5, and overall, I would say I enjoyed it. I've overall enjoyed the show, but season 5 felt very meh to me.
I would agree to an extent. Like I will say to those who don't want to go back and listen to the season 4 podcast, then I'll say I think we have another edition in this podcast where I'm looking back at an episode we recorded and thinking I was too nice on this because you might recall me saying that I think season 4 was worth the wait between season 3 and whenever that came out. And well, there are still parts in season 4 that I enjoyed. Looking back, it was very underwhelming. Very, very underwhelming. I pointed out some issues I had with it even back then, but I was way too nice on it on the podcast. I think it did not hold up. And for the record, by the time season 4 came out, I remembered a lot more things from the first 3 seasons throughout the 3 to 4 years in between. I remembered very little from going into season 5. I remembered very little of season 4. And
You
that
know
was
what?
only like maybe a year ago.
I'll be kind of honest. Yeah, it's about 8 months between season 4 and season 5. And yeah, I'll be honest. I don't remember a lot about season 4. Like, I went back through and looked at some of it and read up on some synopsis for episodes for season 4. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that did happen. Huh. Wait, how did we get from episode 9 in season 4 to episode 1
Right? Right. It just kind of
in season
drops you in
5?
there.
It feels
Yeah,
so weird.
it just kind of drops you in the middle of it. And again, some of the parts that we had from season 4 in terms of the plot do kind of carry over
Yeah, they
to
do.
season 5. because in a one way it's a direct continuation, and the other hand it's like, how much time has again?
Yeah, it's just so, I don't know, it's just weird. It's just weird. A little.
But to be fair, there are a lot to like about season 5. I would say
Yeah.
it's an overall improvement over season 4. But I'll be honest, you know, for everything regarding the Dragon Princess of now, there's the first three and everything afterwards, sadly. Like the first three are
You know,
uh,
when we get
uh,
into spoilers, I think I'm starting to understand
yeah.
more now, especially after 2 seasons of the Mystery of Erebos arc of the Dragon
Mm.
Prince. I'm starting to understand, I think, why I dislike this arc more than the first arc. But I'll save
And
it till we get into spoilers. But I think I'm starting to
yeah,
understand
but
why
also
now.
again, but talking about this, non-spoiling yet, there are a lot of good character moments.
Yeah,
But here's
like,
the thing: these are character moments, but the story that these characters are
yes.
in doesn't go anywhere. We are two
Well,
seasons in, and they say that supposedly is the and they said that the entire show would be 7 seasons, so there are two more seasons after this. So essentially, half of this arc is done, and I don't feel like we really made any progress from where we started. Very minimal, if yes.
I'll put in the caveat, right, that to me, I feel like Claudia and her boyfriend and Viren, and her dad Viren versus Soren, Ezran, Callum, and Rayla is genuinely the worst part of this show between these 2 seasons.
And the
If
thing
I'm
is,
watching Amaya and Janai and everything going on with the Sun Elves and the humans there, I'm enjoying that part of the show. There are moments
there are
within Callum and
moments.
Rayla and all of that stuff. There are moments there that I'm enjoying, but overall package, that story, I'm just kind of like, meh. Over here, yeah, give me more of this. Let's go. All right, I'm enjoying this kind of.
There are even there are even some parts, in the you know ca- in the Callum side and the Claudia side, let's call it that. There are moments in both of those sides that I'm like, you know what, I'm enjoying this is good. But there's something missing, and I think that and could be wrong here, but Wonderstore, who owns the Dragon Prince IP, said that after season 3 they are planning for 4 more seasons, right?
Mhm.
So essentially this is going according to their plan, because there was also like this thing that between the reason it took so long, apparently between seasons 3 and 4 they were renegotiating with Netflix, because there was also this thing that, oh, we are not sure if we're even going to produce it, but if we won't, then we'll find either someone else to put it out, or we'll do it as a graphic novel or whatever. Which is why there's this one graphic novel that connects the 2 seasons, and it actually has some vital plot in it, because of course. and
As we've
and
always said and always
let's
will say, that's a problem.
yeah, and then there's this entire thing. I don't want to get too much into this and how I heard about this, but apparently Wonderstorm had really bad management issues in between, and not fun stories in that place. And I feel like everything just kind of took a toll on the show itself.
Yeah, I heard some rumors about that, but I never delved too deep, to be honest, because it seemed like it was it, like very much rumors, so I could never confirm anything, so I never delved too deep. But yeah, I've heard some stuff about that myself as well.
I won't reveal my sources
No,
or
no, fair,
anything, but
fair, absolutely,
I heard confirmations.
fair enough,
Things were
fair
not
enough,
going well there, and
fair enough.
regardless of that or not, essentially whether or not it had any impact on the show itself, I have no idea. But like at the end of the day, we are reviewing what was given to us as paying members to Netflix,
Hmm.
and what we got is essentially not terrible, better than the last outing, but also still very lackluster looking back.
I'll
Because
say. Oh, go ahead.
I'll just be quick and say that this season released like 2 weeks ago,
Hmm.
and sadly I didn't have much time to do a refresh watch because life is busy. But I remember very basic stuff, and that's about it. So, which just shows how much it really sticks with you. Like I've watched other shows before this, and they're sticking with me a lot more than this did.
Mm.
If anything, the one thing that sticks out with me more is that the fan base actually tries to push for this to succeed so that Netflix won't just midway cancel it like they did with Inside Job.
True. The fan base cares so much about the show, and again, like I will sit here and tell you right up front, I'm one of those people. Like I'm not a super fan, I'm not super into the series and the world and everything, but I still want this show to succeed because I think you would agree there is something here that's genuinely really good, and
Yeah,
and I
because
love that part of it,
again,
but it's like it's just so at times it feels so buried, and it's like it was there during the first 3 seasons. It wasn't perfect, it was a little bit of a little bit of a rough diamond, but it was there and we could all see it. And now we're in 4 and 5, and it's like that rough diamond has started to turn, and we're realizing, oh, maybe it's not a real diamond anymore. But it's like there's still something there. We all see it. Come on, please.
because I tell you what, I think the reason the fan base still cares, because that's the reason why I care about the show, right? Am I a mega fan? No, I won't go this far, but I think the reason people care about this show, and that the fan base is so supportive of it, regardless of the quality, is because people do connect to these characters.
Mm,
People love those characters, and fairly so. I would say the character, and again, what is the thing we said just now about this season, that we say there are great character moments because
mm.
we care about these characters. We want to see these characters grow. We want to see these characters' journey come to an hopefully satisfying ending. Let's see about that whenever we
You
get
know,
there.
it's
But
so it's so
but the
strange
thing
and
is,
interesting
but
to me,
that's
right? I just
yeah.
real quick,
But
it's so strange and interesting to me, right? That this show is starting to have the Ruby problem. Great character
yeah, yeah,
moments.
exactly. I was about to mention that. It's exactly that.
It is the Ruby problem. Amazing characters, amazing character moments. The story, though, and the overall product, it varies with from season to season.
Yeah, and you know what? Just to be clear, because I feel like I could get called out for this. So yeah, Sonic fan here. Of course, I'm gonna stick with something if the character means a lot to me. I am aware. I and a lot of other people care about this blue hedgehog way too much to give up on him, even if he turns out a mediocre product here and there. I am aware, and I'm not criticizing the Dragon Prince fans for doing this. I am doing the same with both these franchises and a lot of other franchises I enjoy. However, if you're going to call me out for being, oh, you like Sonic so much, why do you? Here's the thing. Despite some continuity here and there, one Sonic product can exist without the other. There is no overarching plot. There are no huge. There's not a big continuity that actually you can basically play whichever and you'll follow the story fine. It's not like a show that you need to follow an entire season to get arcs and stuff. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because I am watching The Dragon Prince to see where these characters keep going, and the writers just take them in to bullshit directions, which contradict what they've done before, and it's a problem in something like this
Hmm.
because you know it doesn't follow through. The overall story doesn't make sense in a lot of ways. And like I said
Agreed.
about and the thing is, why I'm saying that people love these characters and we love these characters too, and that's why we keep up with the show, is because I feel the reason the show is losing its luster is because these characters are not given stuff to do recently. Like, not gonna go into spoilers yet, but Azren, like one of the main trio, What the fuck did he do this season?
Genuinely, it feels aimless right now. Like it
Yeah, it
feels like
feels.
certain stories and certain characters have a goal, but a large portion of the characters right now and a large portion of the story feels aimless right now.
And that's another thing that
Compare that to the
I'm.
first 3 seasons. It didn't feel that way. We had a set goal that we were trying to get to.
Yeah.
We
and
don't have
that's
that.
and that's the other thing, because they confirmed these 4 seasons, together. They said that there is going to be 7 seasons after season 3 premiered and everything. So you would think that they'd have a set goal for this arc. I
Mm.
don't see it. If half the story is complete now and I still have no idea where the fuck we're going, or that everything just still feels aimless, there's a problem.
Agreed.
And it don't. And honestly, it sucks to say. It sucks to say this about this show because I thought it was becoming one of the greats when season 3 was around. And if anything, something. I'll tell you what. You know how this show is made by a lot of people who worked on Avatar: The Last Airbender, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, to be ironic here for a second, this feels like a this feels like a bigger problem of what Korra had. Studio meddling, which just fucked up the pacing of the overall story. You get what I mean?
Maybe. Like I don't know. I, there are some times where, right, like, absolutely we can blame Netflix for being shitty 100%, or we can blame Disney for being shitty.
It's one of those things that I don't even want to say Netflix. Maybe Netflix are to blame, but
I,
considering
I,
again the
I think this
problems that
one
have
might
been.
be like, yeah, like if you mean the studio creating, like Wonderstorm themselves, maybe this is Wonderstorm's problem. Maybe they're just not cut out to make this show, right?
Because I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, the reason we say stuff like, oh, fuck Nickelodeon, fuck Netflix, fuck Disney, whatever, they are usually the IP owners. And this is an interesting debate here because Wonderstorm owns the Dragon Prince IP, from what I know.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix is just releasing it. So I'm not necessarily sure if it's if it's maybe the one thing that it kind of impacts is maybe how long a season is. Like
I mean,
a season is 9 episodes. I'm not sure, but at the end of the day, if they own the IP and they are shopping it around, I wonder how much of those decisions are
well,
distributor and how much of it are the
this
people actually making the show.
this also, again, I don't want to make too many
Oh,
assumptions, but this could be a thing of we're just finding out, hey, even though these guys were the creatives behind Avatar: The Last Airbender and Korra, right? Doesn't mean they're good business people and they know how to manage a company to make a
could
product.
be because
Like,
I
yes,
just
sure, they
heard.
can create the Dragon Prince, but they don't know how to market it and they don't know how to, like, put it forward. They just know how to write for it. And we're finding out, oh, these people can't really run a company. They might be really good creatively, but they can't run a company that
and I
makes those
and I
creative
think
things.
maybe I think maybe that's it because I also heard that apparently from season 4 and this one, there's a new animation studio doing the animation.
Uh,
So
I do not. I think it's what is it? The same people? I didn't hear anything about that.
I heard that apparently
Oh
from
yeah, it's
season
Bardell
4.
Entertainment. They're
Yeah.
the new people doing it, I think.
Mhm. But regardless of who does the animation, right? It does. I do actually wonder now, how is what is the power
If you,
relationship here? Because you
if you,
brought up a good point. Maybe Wonderstorm might know how to do the writing and stuff, but when you know that they have to actually run a business, and who knows, maybe now the dragon, as far as I know, the Dragon Prince is like one of their it was like their first big thing. What if they are trying to get other projects off the ground and that interrupts things?
hmm.
You can. I don't know for certain, but the thing is, we're theorizing it because it's starting to make sense in the bigger picture.
Hey, HC, a little bit of trivia for you. You're gonna
Yeah.
love this. The
Mm,
Bardell Entertainment, the people who are currently animating the Dragon Prince. Do you want to know something else
yes.
they've animated for?
If you're going to say Nine Realms, I swear to God.
Actually, no. Rescue Riders.
Ah,
DreamWorks Dragons Rescue
close
Riders.
enough.
They helped animate on that show.
Ah, well, I guess they have a team if it has dragons therein, which honestly, good enough reason to animate.
They also did, for those who might be interested, the co-animation for season 2 of Genlock. For those who know of Genlock, and especially know of season 2 of Genlock, take that how you will. I will say,
I heard the name. I have no idea what it is, though.
I will
But
say, you know, animation wise, this season, fine. And they've honestly been animating on Dragon Prince, I think, for like, it looks like the entirety of the show's runtime. Like they've been at least
really,
helping on it, from what I
I
can see,
heard
but
that there
it's
was a
nothing clear.
change, but
I don't know if they've changed. I don't know. I think they might have changed over to Bardell Entertainment's doing the full animation now. But from what I'm looking, it looks like they might have at least helped on it since the beginning. But I can't tell how much. I don't know.
all right. So anyway, I think we kind of beat this topic into the ground. So why not just jump into spoilers and try and make sense of this thing somehow? Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Ready when you are.
So spoilers for season 5 of the Dragon Prince start in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so back to the question I asked before. What was Azrin's part in this
So
plot? Hell,
hey, I
the show is named after Zim, the Dragon Prince,
I
and
want to
he's doing nothing.
I want to point out, I want to bring something back up, right? You mentioned
Yeah.
that this season felt like it's missing something. The past 2 seasons have felt like they're missing something. And I pointed
Yep.
out that it currently feels aimless, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think what it's missing is that again, like it's aimless and it has no goal. We don't know like what are our heroes trying to accomplish right now? We saw this first episode where Ezra's going around talking to like some of the other archdragons, like the archdragon of the ocean. I'm here to talk to her, and Ezra learns more about Erebos' prison and stuff of that nature. And then we do some stuff with Callum and Rayla. I'll get to that because I have a problem, but at least the
Oh
show.
yeah, well we'll talk about them. Trust me.
But, excuse me. But yeah, after that, it's kind of like we just lose Ezran for a bit. And then Ezran comes back up with, like, hey, we've, got all the dragons looking for, Claudia and her dad to stop them and everything. But after a certain point, right, you have to look at this and say, wow, our good guys went from the back foot in the first 3 seasons to they have every reason to succeed, and yet somehow they're still failing. Yet somehow they're
Yeah.
still losing. And it's like the show, man, motherfucker, when Erebos came in late in this season, and I know I'm jumping around for a minute, but just let me.
Yeah.
Erebos
No, fair
literally
enough.
came in and fucking said, "Oh, Claudia, she's like one of the most powerful dark mages ever," and I'm like, Erebos, honey, please, do you want me to believe? I'm looking at her. I see her. You want me to believe she's this big bad threat? Really? Truly?
It's
I have
like
to. Erebos, I know you're supposed to be the biggest bad guy of them all, that you had to be locked away because you can't even be killed. But yet, you're somehow losing to these inept fucks who basically get in their way all the time, get in their own way all the time. You're depending on that inept fuck, and you want me to believe she's somehow the biggest bad of them all, even better than her dad. And it's like, are you. I can understand now why you got locked in that fucking prison in the first place. You must be the biggest dumb fuck of them all. Why are you a threat?
yes. I you know something
And
I never even thought about that.
the
You're
other
right.
thing, right, is that like we we have an episode dedicated to finding a way to kill this motherfucker, and our goal is no, 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 no. We should go get his prison first. But wait, why are we trying to get to Erebos first? Should our goal not just be to stop the villains from ever getting to his prison? Why do we need to find it? Why do we need to take it from them? Why are we not just out there looking for the villains, which is Claudia and her dad, stopping them and then being like, okay, lock them away, kill them, whatever, I don't care. But like I just
Especially
the
because,
the
and I'm just saying this. Wolf, it
no,
connects
go
to what
for
you're
it.
saying
Go for it.
because no,
I'm
because the
having like a moment here where I'm
by
speechless.
all
I'm
means.
stun locked.
No, I'm speechless too because I was also thinking about it. Why do we need to find this prison when our enemies are also looking for this prison? Because guess what? One of them is fucking dying. If they don't get to where, if Claudia and Varian and Terry, is that Claudia's boyfriend name? Yeah, so if
What? Yeah,
they
Terry.
if they yeah if they don't reach Erebus's prison in time, Varian fucking
But
dies.
see, they
And
have
if
a
he
goal. I at least understand why they
no no
need and
no
want to find
well,
it, right?
well, here's the thing though.
Oh no, go ahead.
If if Varian dies, that because they apparently they have a deadline. If they reach Erebus while Varian is already dead, that's it. Jig is up. He's dead for good. He's not coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's dead, that means Claudia has no reason to find Erebus. And Terry is just gonna follow her because he loves her. Honestly, she doesn't deserve him. So, on that note,
I don't understand
why
Terry
not?
either. I'm gonna be honest at this point, but
But it's like, so motherfuckers, go stop them from getting to the thing. Otherwise, Virian is dead, and you have no reason to worry. Find the prison after and
and
destroy it. But right now, it's like they're making. It's like, you know what it's like. You know what it's fucking like. There's a scene in Sonic Unleashed, I think, where Eggman's sidekick calls them out on Eggman overlooking things, and he's trying to play it up like, it's part of the bigger picture. I want a bit of challenge for myself. What's the fun in succeeding if you don't have challenge? It's like, motherfuckers, this is not the moment to try to have artificial challenge for yourself. Kill the fucker first. It's not hard. Why doesn't not anyone think about this? Holy shit, this just keeps getting worse
I
and worse the more we talk about it.
I want to point out to people, right? Because I get it. I do get and understand that, hey, we should find, if, for our good guys, for Callum's group, right? That's what I'm just going to refer to it as at this point. Or Rayla's group, whichever you prefer. Either way, for their group, I get trying to find the prison, because if you find the prison, okay, you'll find, you'll potentially find Claudia and them, and then you can stop them. Or the location of the prison. I get that. But these people, specifically, the show goes out of its way to show Ezran saying, hey, all the dragons of this entire continent, help us look. Help us look for them. And it's like, all right, that's smart. That's something that should be done, because you have these resources. You are literally, you have everything at your feet right now. You are on top.
Yeah.
You should not be losing. Yet, but the problem is that, okay, we're all gonna go and, find a way to find the prison and like unlock the prison or what have you, and then we're just not gonna follow up on anything you guys, the dragons, specifically find. So don't tell us if you find anything. We don't care, apparently, because that's not our goal.
Yeah.
Our goal is to they consistently, Ezran's like, no, our goal is to get to the prison first. But why do you need to, is my issue. Why do
Yeah,
you need
like,
the prison? You don't want it
honestly,
unlocked. Would it not be
yeah,
better for you to just
honestly,
stop
just
them?
put
And then
on
just
that
like
note.
once they're stopped, it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, sure, Erebos might try to find other people, but then it's like, if you want to stop Erebos specifically, should we not do Callum's whole like, hey, I found a sword that can kill, Erebos. We should go get that, and everybody, and like Ezran's like, no, we should get the prison first. And it's like, but I understand you want to start, like, but
And
why?
you know what
Like, I
else?
understand you want to stop Claudia, but why do you need the prison? Just stop them, then go get the sword, then you can get the prison. Like
I'll
it's
do you
just
better. Why not send the dragons to protect the prison? If we're not gonna see them actually do shit, then you know what? At least I know. Okay, they're protecting the prison in case Claudia and Varian does get there. There's a big old strong line of defense that,
eh,
or something. Divide and conquer.
for that one,
Someone need to
right?
teach Ezran that.
I can at least give them the benefit of the doubt of saying like, "Hey, we want as few people as possible to know the location of it," right? Because
But
Erebos
the
can
dragons
like,
obviously know it.
well, well, actually, no, the dragons don't know it technically. Like they know all, like
Mhm.
only the arch dragons know pieces of the puzzle, right? Like that's the whole deal.
Mhm.
Which again, I'm fine with them being like, yo, hey, we want as few people as possible to know. That way, Erebos can't do his whole like manipulation shtick. I get it. At least that
Fair.
one I can like say, all right. It's just the logic of our main four heroes that I just do not understand. Of why are you after the prison? Why is that our focus? Why are we not? Why is our focus not stopping them from getting it? And we're just like, I feel like that would be a better story as well. Like we're constantly trying to stop Claudia from doing what she's doing, from getting to the prison, right? And excuse me, we're trying to stop Claudia from getting to the prison, and she's just constantly outwitting and outmaneuvering them. But we don't see that. They're basically completely two separate storylines at this point, and the only thing that bothers Claudia's group is a dragon. And like Claudia never, like, again, they want Claudia to feel like this big bad villain all of a sudden. It's like I remember her from the first 3 seasons where she's kind of stupid, gonna be honest. Like she has her
Yeah.
moments, but she's kind of stupid. And now all of a sudden I'm supposed to think like, oh no, she's evil now. But she's doing it all for the sake of, her family and the love of her dad. But it's like she just doesn't feel the way the show wants me to feel about her at all. And they don't give her
Right.
any and they give her very few chances to show or prove that to me.
I've seen people, I'm not saying that she necessarily needs to be that, right?
No, fair.
But I've seen people call her the Azula of this show.
I don't see it though. Like I've heard that too.
Exactly.
I look at Azula and I
Exactly.
look at Claudia and I'm like, how do you see that? Because like I could see her being the May, Azula's May of the show. Like she's
Yeah.
May at best. Maybe
Hmm.
what was Zuko's girlfriend's name?
I forgot her
Like
name. Oh my
maybe
god.
her? Like she could be a
Yeah.
little bit of her, maybe? Like she's not Azula though. Like
Yeah.
she's just not
And for the
Azula at
record,
all.
she doesn't need to be the exact same character, but
No,
at the
absolutely
same
not.
time, you can't accept me this ridiculous comic relief-ish meme generator to suddenly be the big bad.
And like
Because I'll tell you what, it could have worked if this show were a comedy of a sort. And there are funny moments, but this show is not a comedy. It's a fantasy adventure show. So I should be terrified of the villain, not making jokes with the villain. It's not. I need to think about something here. You know what? It's not Cuphead. It's the devil is a funny villain, but that's the
I
vibe of
mean,
the show. The show
and
is a comedy with barely any
and
consequences.
here's the other thing, right? Like you could say, "Oh, that's how she starts off," but she's going to eventually
She's
become
not.
more of that Azula
So
character. But it's like we're in season 5. There's 2 seasons left as far as where we're at this point, right?
yeah, well,
I-
and Azula,
Are they going to
Azula
do
only
that
had
in one season? What? Really? I don't know if I can buy that turn. Even if it's
you
like, "Oh, her
know,
dad dies and that's how she turns so quickly and so hard." It's like I guess I can
what?
kind of see it, but that would just feel so ham-fisted to me at
Yeah,
this
and again,
point.
like because people would say, well, Azula only had 2 seasons to be her in Avatar, but a
But
season of
she came
Avatar is like
out of
20
the
some.
gate, right? Like everyone
Yeah,
remembers the first
one
episode with her.
one out of the gate, and two, Avatar has 20 episodes per season, and this one has 9.
Mm.
So there's no way you're gonna make her an Azula. There's just no, no, no,
And again,
hell
right?
no.
Like if you even if you're saying like, oh, she's the Azula in reference, right? Like this is how you're supposed to think of Claudia. I just don't think of her that way. I can't think of her that way. She just
I can't.
does
He's
not
not
fill that
that.
role well. If that's like
No,
if
not
that's
at
supposed to
all.
be a role, she does not fill it at all, right? Like it's
Hmm.
there are moments, there are glimpses of I can kind of see what you're talking about. Like this episode where we see her, you know, threaten and almost kill the dragon that was stalking them, right? The one dragon, the one fucking dragon. But
Yeah, the one
anyways,
dragon that
out of like what looked like hundreds
honestly
of
cool
dragons.
scene,
Oh yeah,
honestly cool
it was a good
scene,
scene for
but
Claudia, but it's like hundreds of dragons are searching for us. The one dragon finds us, doesn't
yeah,
say
you know,
anything. I'm gonna threaten it. I'm gonna almost
it's
kill
like,
it.
you
Okay,
know
it's scared of
something,
us now. It's
you
not
know,
gonna say anything and it's gonna leave us alone.
no,
What?
no, no. Yeah, like listen, no. When this thing happened, I was actually thinking about that scene in the first Deadpool movie where he goes to the X-Men mansion. It's like, huh, it's so funny that there's such a big mansion and I only see you two around. It's like the studio couldn't afford any other X-Men. That's
Studio
what
couldn't
this
afford any
is.
other dragons.
Yeah, like the other dragons are getting paid by the hour. They're not around. So what the hell? And so just this entire thing just, and again they do this entire thing where, you know, Callum up, if I remember the comics, Callum like it tears out her legs,
Yeah, at the very
and
end, like no,
then
it was Rayla, right?
Rayla,
Rayla cut one of her like tentacle tentacles when she transformed at the very end, and it's like, oh wait, that's like her actual leg is cut now, it's gone at the very end of the
mhm.
show, and it's like our villains lost again to these people who consistently get in their own way somehow, yet they're still winning right now. How?
honestly this honestly this is like a comedy of mistakes but by accident. It's a comedy of mistakes by mistake.
I
How
genuinely,
do
if you're watching this right now, you've never seen anything of the Dragon Prince. I genuinely want you to go into it thinking of it as not a serious show that you're supposed to take more seriously. Like, no, this is a serious story. You're supposed to take this serious, right? Go into
trying
it
to
think,
treat it as if it's the
yeah,
Cuphead show?
yeah, try and yeah, genuinely go into it as if it's a comedy of like it's a comedy of error shows. You're seeing people just fail horribly and just look at it like that and just give me your opinion on the show after the fact. I'm curious if you feel that it's somehow better by that assumption. I don't know.
I
I think it
I
might
am
be.
I need to, you know, something. This needs to be like a social experiment. You know, get a bunch of people who don't know the show and just try and let them watch these two seasons as a comedy. As you're not supposed to take this seriously. There's no other. It's not supposed to be like important or something. Just watch it as a comedy. Watch it as and you know what? This leads us to the very thing we promised we'll talk about. Let's talk about Raylan for a second because I was laughing and crying and screaming in frustration at the very first episode, where Rayla breaks Callum's trust by stealing a key to this
Listen,
chamber in
man.
the castle. She gets captured, and Callum is like, "Oh, I'm sure she had a good reason to do it." Motherfucker, she lied to you.
I'll give them credit. I liked how Callum approached that. I liked how they had Callum approach that. Like, no, I fully trust her. She had her reasons. She'll tell me when she's ready. I loved how they did that. That was great
I don't.
character stuff, right?
I fucking don't because it
But
makes him it makes him not being willing to talk to her and being an ass about her leaving in the previous season. It's a complete 180 for no goddamn reason,
well,
and they
the
are not
idea is
handling this.
like they apparently they solved that in the last season, right? Like Callum was over that last season. That's why they're together now, back in
Yeah,
the
that's the thing though. It
capital.
doesn't feel like they are. It doesn't. It still like, feels
Yeah.
like, oh, we reached that point in season three, so they can't. It's like the Marvel Comics problem where, oh, we can't have the couple get together because relationships are not interesting. And to that I say bullshit because all the cute scenes Callum and Rayla have, they would have worked better if they were actually together and we didn't have this will they won't they bullshit going on. We've been through that. Let them be a couple for fuck's sake. It's not even that you can say it's LGBTQ kind of thing because it's a straight couple. What the fuck?
Well, I mean, like again, right? I'll say I liked how they handled that outcome personally, but my issue I was sitting there and I'm like, motherfucker, we're gonna go through this whole song and dance again. Of I'm not going to talk to you about what my problems are. So we're just going to have these problems compound and be twice as worse later on before I finally decide to talk to you. And I'm like, we're doing this shit again, aren't we? This is going to be the majority of our issues and however they come from
It's
for another
it's
season.
that
And then
GTA
they
San Andreas meme of, oh shit, here we go again.
and then they didn't do that. And I was like, all right, you know what? You like you're learning, right? You had a bit of a problem where Rayla didn't talk to Callum, went behind his back, did something that caused a larger problem, but Callum was like, "No, let's move past that. Let's move forward. Let's try to do better and be better. I'm here for you when you need me." I'm like, "All right, I like this. This is going in a good direction." And then we go to motherfucking episode fucking 3. And Zubea, Zim's mom, does the same shit again. No, I'm not going to tell them I'm wounded. Don't say anything about me getting wounded.
Yep,
And then it
fuck that
causes
too.
problems. And it's like, oh God, we're doing it again. Why?
Hmm.
Why?
Because we need 2 more seasons of this.
But guess what? That's not the only time. Callum uses dark magic again later on in like episode 8, but he doesn't say anything about it because, he doesn't want to talk about it. That's just his thing that he's going to keep secret again. And it's just like, we're doing it again, show. Why are we doing it
Yeah.
again? Why are we doing this again?
It's
Why?
like it's
Why is this
again.
the well?
I don't
And
get
I
this
want to
idea of
be
keeping secrets in a state like
I want to
this.
be clear, right? I want to be clear. There's nothing wrong with, in a show or a book, a movie, video game, whatever. Like, there's nothing wrong when a story says, hey, this character doesn't say what's bothering them, or they're keeping a secret that could be a problem later, and it comes out and turns out to end up being a problem later that if they would have talked about it, it wouldn't have been as much of a problem, right? It's fine. We
Mhm.
as humans do this shit all the time where we don't talk about shit and problems arise because we didn't talk about shit, right?
Yeah,
It's fine if your
but
story does that. But the issue I have with it is we went through all of season 4 with this being a major issue, parts of season 1 through 3. But again, I was willing to let it go in seasons 1 through 3 because we're building these characters up. We're building their relationships up. This is understandable. This is fine. Season 4,
and
the
also you
relationships
could
have been
argue
built
that,
up already.
and also I would want to make the argument that in seasons 1 to 3 the characters are younger, so
Yeah,
they
even
would
that. Yeah,
make those
like there
mistakes.
was a time skip after season 3 as well. So we have that to
Yeah.
go for as well here. But again, like at
Mhm.
this point, we're season 5. It doesn't feel like we should be keeping secrets as much from each other anymore,
Yeah,
right? It
because
feels
it
like we
keeps
should.
biting them in the
Yeah,
ass.
like yeah, and
It's like,
that's the other issue. It consistently ends up being the main problem that our heroes are faced
yeah.
against because
Honestly,
because
weird
we don't have a
comparison.
good villain. That's the problem. Like they have to
Yeah.
basically. So basically, we need our villain. Like this is the other issue, right? We as the audience know our villain is Claudia. Like, I'm sorry, she's shit. And
Mhm.
our protagonist won in season 3. They have every right to still be winning, yet somehow they're still losing because they are their own problem now. We have to basically make them their own problem, and it makes all of them way less likable because of it. And it's just
Essentially,
annoying because I want to
weird
like these
comparison.
characters.
Yeah, no, weird comparison, but what was the main problem with 13 Reasons Why from season 2 and onward? No one actually follows the lesson of the show, which is talk about it. Talk it out. Don't keep what's bothering you away from people who can help you, be it your friends, family, professionals, whatever.
You want
But the thing is that if they actually do it, there's no show. Ergo, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to say this in defense. The reason they are keeping all those, it's because then there would be no show. And I am sorry, but if the defense for criticism, like for any story criticism, is because show, then the show fails. Like sometimes I can kind of let it slide if it's nothing that big, right? If it's like a nitpick or
well,
something. But in this case, this is not a nitpick. This
even
is a big problem with the show because the characters have no logical reason to do what they're doing. There's just no.
even then, right? Like if that's your defense against this criticism, Amaya, Janai, the story with Janai's brother, her brother is becoming a really good villain for the series right now for that side story. They're doing
Yeah,
that
and
really
that
well.
side
And it's
story.
not, and the problems aren't coming from Janai and Amaya not talking or nothing going on. It's coming from them just, trusting the wrong person, or him getting, or Erebos secretly in the background helping him, which I'm not sure I like that, to be honest, because it's like, why are you getting the shit part of the story mixed in with the good part? Go away,
Because
Erebos.
I'll tell you
You're not
what,
the
this
big bad
was,
here anymore.
yeah, this
Janai's
was so
brother
weird
is.
for me
We
that
like him.
Jai's brother. Yeah, no, I'm like, I didn't get a sense. I'm like, we aren't we done with this guy? Why is he sounding like a secondary villain? But at the same time, that creature he releases, well, like that creature was really freaking cool. I like the action
Yeah,
in that. I kind of
the
like. I get it, but that's the point, though. This when I kind of, this is one of those things that sadly, as good as it was, I'm just yelling, skip, because it has nothing to do with the main plot. It
Kim
has
Dale,
nothing to do with
the
the
like
main plot.
the blood moon, like, basically a dark moon elf who became like a blood moon elf. She's great. I love her design. I loved everything with her. Seeing her fight against Amaya and Janai and everything. And, Janai's brother being the one who's like, hey, do this for me and I'll let you free from your blood debt, that you owe our family. And it's like, that was really good. Everything there was so good.
Yeah,
But then they sneak that little thing in. It like, oh, it looks like Janai's brother's little helper dude might be, controlled, or might be being controlled by Erebos. Sneaky, sneaky. He's got all these
yeah.
plans everywhere.
And
And it's like, does he
this
really have all these
thing,
plans? Is he really the big bad at this point? Because I don't feel like he is. I feel like
I'll tell you
you
what,
show.
they named this freaking show after, technically after Zim, but now after Erebos too. And like Erebos has a trending presence to him. He's interesting in that we don't really know him because because he doesn't physically exist in this world. And I think like
I don't
five
know.
season into this 7 season show, this is starting to lose some of its fluster because
Yeah.
yes, what we don't know what he can do. As
Like,
far as I'm aware, as soon as they release him in season 7 or some shit, whenever that's gonna happen, he's just gonna be a guy that's like, I am free, and then they stab him. I don't know
I
what the fuck he can
Well, I
do.
mean, the other issue is they show him being like this master manipulator in all the promotional material, right? Like he's always got all these puppet strings from him to like Claudia, Viren, and Callum, and everyone else, and it's just like he doesn't feel that way. He's controlled like two people, Viren and random dude who's close to Janai's brother, who
Yeah,
we don't even really
I'll
care
tell
about
you
the name
better
of.
because one of my favorite scenes this season, actually, a really good moment was that nightmare sequence that Viren has. This scene was really freaking good,
Mm,
but at the same time, I feel like where's the rest of this Erebos?
agreed. But I want to go back to something else you mentioned, right?
Sure, it's me.
You brought up the issue of like, oh, like, you were talking about like, Stranger Things, right? And the characters never learned from the main lesson of the show,
I
right?
I said certain reasons why, not
Stranger
Stranger Things.
Things. I don't know why I did that. 13 Reasons Why. Stranger Things is actually good.
Yeah.
I want to point out, right? Like we've been talking about how the characters continually get in their own way and cause their own problems. 3 episodes of the seasons are dedicated to a character called Finnegrin, a really cool pirate character who seems like a pretty cool little side villain. The problem
Honestly,
is
didn't like him at all.
he was okay. I didn't mind him. He was just like, bit of a bully, but he's kind of like the big bad to be the big bad, right? He's just, I want to do
And
things my
again,
way and I want to control
on that
everything.
note,
Eh.
the only reason he's a big bad is because Aslan decided to steal
That's
those
exactly
bugged.
what I was going to say. He was not even a threat to our party. They had a boat. They could have just left. And my issue was this entire season, Ezran has been constantly saying, we need to focus on getting to Erebos' prison and getting his prison
and then
and
and then
keeping that
he's
away
doing
from
this side,
Claudia. And like,
and then he's doing this fucking side.
I get it. Ezran likes glow toads. He's going to try and protect the glow toads. But yet, you've dedicated his whole character to no, the prison, the prison. Callum, forget your sword. That's not important. That's not going to help us at all. We don't need that. The prison, Callum. That's what we need to focus on. but wait, Callum, we're gonna steal these glow toads, and I'm basically gonna put us in danger of failing our entire mission to begin with because, well, if I don't do that, we're kind of just going to win and beat Claudia there and get the prison and just leave. And it's like,
Yeah.
ugh, why?
Ah,
It's like
indeed. Oh, so,
it's like this is, you can see the writing here and it just doesn't feel good, right? And people
not
might
what
say and people might say like, well, that's in Ezran's character, that's perfectly fine for him to do that. You're not wrong, but the issue
you're not.
is again, I just stated earlier, right? You can see the writing here. When I can watch a show and I can see and feel where the writer said, oh shit, insert thing here that stops them briefly, that's a
Here's the
problem.
thing. You can say that's in Aslan's character. But I bring up again, it's in Aslan's character for the first 3 seasons, not a grown up Aslan who's been king now and has dealt with responsibility.
Yeah, like they're trying to portray him as grown up, right? This doesn't feel grown up. This feels like younger Ezran again. That's another issue.
Mhm.
But again, like to me, it's just one of those things of I can see and feel the writers here going, "Oh shit, we just realized we need to
We
slow
wrote
things
ourselves
down a
into a
bit.
corner.
Like we have a
Then,
problem here. We need to have
yeah.
a character basically fuck up and do something that they wouldn't normally do just to slow things down a bit so it feels like, okay, this makes more sense that they got here at the same time as Claudia now. It just doesn't work. It
And
just
then,
doesn't
like,
work.
this, what's her name? Nyx? She shows up for some reason.
Hey, I get my girl back. I'm all right with that. I
No, I'm
know.
not saying. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that it's
No, but we
not
all
nice to see
know
her
that's
back.
the writers going, hey, this character, look, guys, look, it's Nyx again. You all like Nyx, right? Like, yeah, I do like Nyx. But don't do my girl like that. Don't use her as your, fucking bait to make me like your season again. You gave me Pirate Boy back again. I love him. I love Pirate Guy as well. I love both Nyx and Pirate Guy. But don't do my girl and my dude like that. You're just using him as bait to make me like your season.
And
No,
this
that's
and
just
this
wrong.
and this is what we talked. And this is what we talked about earlier. We are onto the right because we like these characters, but they are using these characters to tell this story which doesn't go anywhere.
And it's just like I want to like you, and I do kind of like this season. I still like this show. I'm still gonna watch season 6, but it like
Of course,
I've
we will finish this because we've made
I
it
mean
this far,
re-
but also
even regardless of the podcast, right? I would still be watching this, but
yeah.
I'm coming to that realization that I'm seeing now what's making me dislike these 2 seasons. I'm come to understand it a lot more now because of season 5, and it's like I hope we find a direction soon and we stop feeling so aimless, because if we
Because
don't,
like I
season 6
said,
is also not going to feel good.
because like I said, there are great moments in this season. There are great which I loved, and I'm like, this is good. But when I'm looking at the overall picture, what are we doing? What is going on? And I'm sorry to say this, and don't get me wrong, this show is not nearly. Dragon Prince is not nearly as bad as that show. But I'm starting to kind of feel the same as I'm feeling with Nine Realms. I don't
Oof.
really have much higher, in the
That's a
sense that,
threat.
okay, hear me out. Like I said, Dragon Prince is a better show in any way.
Oh yeah,
But
great.
what I mean is that I'm basically just here because you caught me with the earlier stuff. Like in this case is the first 3 seasons, and in Nine Realms' case is the original How to Train Your Dragon. So you caught me. I'm here. I made it this far. I might as well see how this ends. But and again, not to say that these two shows are equal in quality, because who boy no, I'm not going that far. But it is kind of sad to say that a show that I saw a lot of great stuff in, and I had a lot of love for, like the Dragon Prince, now just kind of turned into this I'm gonna watch the rest of it, but not because I'm actually interested, but because I made it this far, so might as well. That's sad, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll be honest with you, I didn't even expect to be this angry in this podcast. But like, the more I think about it, this season falls apart.
Yeah, it does. It's like I kind of sat there watching it and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have things to say. Maybe HC will like it more. And then it's like, oh, I've come on and made HC's opinion turn. Oops. People are
No,
not gonna
no,
be
it's
happy with us. Because it seems
uh,
like from what I've seen from some of the from smaller parts of the fandom that I do congregate with a little bit,
like
it seems like people
along
do
spans
like
of stuff.
season 5 more than season
Yeah,
4.
like.
And
Mhm.
objectively speaking, I do think season 5 will stick with me a little bit more than season 4, and I think I enjoyed more of season 5 than I did season 4. But that's a low bar for me right now. And
Yeah,
season
I'll be
6
honest,
has a lot of legwork to do to
because
bring it back
you
for
know
me at this point.
something. When I'm thinking about this, I held positive thoughts about season 5, and I've shared my positives, my positive, but yet problematic thoughts about it around. But
Mm-hmm.
the more I'm noticing, the general consensus around season 5 seems to be it's better than season 4. Which, okay, it's better, but at the same time,
That's a low
what
bar.
kind of bar are we dealing with here?
Yeah, like that's, to me, that's a low bar. To other
Like,
people, that might be higher,
for
but
comparison, it's like if someone will tell me, "Oh, the new live-action Avatar show is better than the M Night Shyamalan movie," and I'm like, "Okay, fair enough that it's better, but what is the bar?"
yeah, like where's that bar at? Because let's be honest, that bar is buried deep. It's not hard to get over it. So,
There's a reason that people say there's no movie in Bossing Say, right?
mm,
So you can say that this show looks better than that movie as much as you want. The bar is not that high. For the record, the show isn't out yet. I'm just using it as an example of
like, yeah,
greater,
no,
it's better.
that's fair.
But but
Like, yeah,
what are we
if
comparing it to?
if they couldn't get over it, if they couldn't get over that bar, I would be worried, right? The fact that they
Yeah,
can get over that bar doesn't say much.
yeah. It's like if you tell me, well, it's better than The Room, and I'm like, okay, what is your point?
Like, you said nothing. Cool. Your opinion
Yeah.
means literally nothing right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, something to bring back that Sonic debate again. If people are going to try and judge me for this, it's like when I'm saying, "Oh, I actually like Sonic 06 a bit more than Shadow the Hedgehog," but then I'm saying, "Well, both of them are shit." It doesn't matter if I like
Mhm.
if I prefer one over the other for the smallest things. It's just that one makes me want to kill myself less.
Fair.
so,
Very fair.
so, so I don't fucking know. I don't know. Honestly, this entire podcast just made me depressed.
You're welcome. That's what I do.
Yep. After something. For all intents and purposes, this episode is gonna release. This is the closest we're gonna have for like, you know, for our the this podcast's 7th anniversary was a few days ago. This is the episode we're celebrating with. Just
Yeah.
just me being depressed that the show I liked initially is just
I
going down.
you know, I'll say here close to the end, because I think we are close to the end at this point. Yeah,
Yeah,
we've not gone over
basically.
everything in the show. There's definitely some other stuff that I like about it that we've not gone over. But go watch. I do recommend still watching it, especially if you're a fan of the Dragon Prince. There's nothing here that I think is utterly offensive. This is just
Yeah,
my personal nitpicks, right? My personal. This is
I
something
want.
I have a problem with, and I have a problem when a show, to me at least, starts to feel aimless, or especially when I can feel the writers having to get in the way of the main characters to keep them from winning at this point, because oh fuck, we still have like a season or two left. How do we get Erebos to win if like they've already beaten Claudia? And it's
Yeah,
like we need
and the
Erebos to
other
have his
thing.
moment where he wins so our heroes can triumphantly come back so they can win the day.
And I just want to say that, because even though even pointed out some things I like and stuff, I am aware that most of this podcast has been negative. And I know that despite saying this is a improvement and anything, people will be like, "Wow, but you shit talk it throughout the entire." And here's the thing: we are not shit talking it because Down with the Dragon Prince, I hope it gets canceled. We are shit talking it because we love the show. We like the show and we want to see better done for it. This
Mm.
is not an attack on anyone involved in the show. It's not saying that they're not trying or that they are terrible human beings for messing up. They're not. They're doing, I'm sure they're doing their best with what they got, considering all the problems that production ran into, from what we know. But at the same time, just because we like the show doesn't mean we need to be blind fanboys who would ignore pretty pivotal stuff. And I'm sorry, the story is just not adding up in any way you're looking at it.
Again, you have there's a gem there. It seemed like it was coming to the surface a bit more, and we were able to shine it up a bit more by season 3. And then it seems like, okay, we're burying it again, and I'm kind of like, but why though? It's like you have something
Mm-hmm.
here. It's so good. The world, the characters, a lot of the character moments, the designs, the music,
Yeah.
even the animation has been fun for the most part. Like I love the
Mm-hmm.
stylization to it. Like there's so much good stuff here to like and enjoy, and it's like you're so close. You're so close.
So close and yet so far.
Just give me like season 6 as of right now for me going into it. Like I'm curious of season 6, especially because I want to know at this point how you're going to get Claudia from where she's at with like a gone leg, Viren going to die within a couple of hours apparently. Basically Viren just literally walked off to lay down and die somewhere, more or less.
Yeah.
His daughter's missing a
Mm-hmm.
leg, so and like our protagonists have Erebos's prison. How are you going to get Erebos out? How are you going to get Claudia to the point where she's supposed to be more of a villain again or something to win?
I'll tell
There's
you
so many
what.
questions I have, and I'm very curious to see what the writers are going to do. I'm super curious and interested. I
I'll
won't
tell you what.
lie.
I'm forgiving everything. Okay, I'm cynical here. But with the comedy,
Here we go.
I will forgive everything if Terry ends up being the main villain.
Oh shit. Dude's been so nice and kind this entire time, and all of a sudden he just plot twist, super turn all of a sudden out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, because listen, he's Viren is the girlfriend's dad, who is actually who he actually started to bond with, went off to die somewhere. Claudia lost a foot, an entire leg. Sorry, I don't know. To quote Spider-Man Noir, sounds that's a pretty hardcore origin story.
No, fair, fair.
So yeah, that's you know what? So if Terry becomes the main villain, I'm like, okay, you know what? Well played. I'm forgiving you.
It'll be one hell of a twist. It'll be something. I don't know if I'll like it, but it'll be something.
Can you imagine the writers listening to this and be like, and and be like, they had no idea. oh, oh shit,
They
we could
figured
have
it out.
done that.
But I don't want you to do it though, let's be clear.
Honestly, I don't know what's gonna be better at this point. So
I'm
I
interested.
guess
I'm definitely
I guess
interested, but yeah, season 6 to me as of right now, it has a lot of like, carry. It has a lot of legwork it's going to have to do to get me to say, all right, I'm back in. There's a chance, not gonna lie. There's a chance season 6 could bring me back in. But right now, I'm kind of out of it, and you've not won me over, and I'm kind of just it kind of
so. Anything else?
no. Go watch season 5. I do still kind of
Well,
recommend it.
if
Weirdly
I hope you
enough,
already watched it because we spoiled the
if
things.
you
So.
haven't for whatever reason, go still watch it. I do kind of weirdly enough recommend it still.
So on this note, this was it for this episode of the Outcast. We hope you enjoyed it. What are your thoughts about the Dragon Prince season 5? If you liked it, then tell us why, and if you didn't, then what would the season 6 and 7 need to do in order to win you back? You can tell us all about it in the comment section below, on our Twitter, which is Berkcast, with capital B, capital C,
Cough, cough.
and
It's
on our
X.
Tumblr,
Cough,
which is
cough.
Berkcast Team. Until the next episode, I was HC,
I was Wolf.
and we will see you all next time. Take care.
Bye bye.